Good morning and welcome to the SDS show. Today we have a very unique topic of conversation, being the Rana Plaza building collapse. This incident has been on the forefront of health and safety in the workplace for the last 6 years. The building collapsed on the 24th of April 2013, where 1,132 people died and a further 2,500 people were badly injured. These statistics exemplify the importance of workplace health, safety and security, especially in such large corporations. Now, we have invited several experts and guests on the show tonight to discuss this topic. Firstly, I would like to introduce Katia Baum, one of our most respected journalists. Hello, Katia.
Hello.
From all of your experience, can you please provide some insight on the issue at hand?
Yes, sure. So I think that health, security and safety is of course important nowadays. And in order to provide you an insight of this issue, I did conduct an interview with Caroline James. She is the CEO of 4 Bakeries since 2005. She leads working team, take care of the recruitment of the managers of the various bakery. And she told me that employees are essential in a company, and this is why we should not neglect this aspect.
Okay. And can you describe to me what is important in regard to employee health and safety?
Yes, so she told me that it was very important that the employees are well treated, because if there is no health problem, there is less absenteeism, better working atmosphere, less problem of schedule and less staff turnover. She also told me that it was important because in company the rate of occupational accident is linked to your number of sick leave and your number of occupational accidents. And the more the rate is strong, the company has to pay a high price to the social security.
Okay. And what did she think was the main mistake regarding health, safety and security at work?
She thinks that there is a lack of raising awareness of the manager of the safety. We are not conscious of potential danger which can happen in a workplace. For instance, she told me about the repetition of spots. Due to making always the same movements, employee can catch disorder that are called musculo-scrawny. For example, in the manufacturing shop at the beginning, it was always the same person in the same spots. And in order to improve the situation, she required to have a rotation so that it's not always the same person in the same spot.
Okay. And in regard to this issue, what did she do to stop these potential dangers?
In regard to this issue, she told me that she was made sensitive. She worked with the occupational medicine. They have engineers who are specialized in the safety and the health at work. And in order to avoid such situations, she also replaced the completed movement by machines, hoist of tank, for example.
Okay. Thank you, Katia, for providing us with such an extensive insight into the issue. Okay, so we have with us today two experts in this field, Maria Voroshilova and Roman Gil. They've been working in this area for 30 years. Let's start with Maria. Can you please enlighten us on the importance of health, safety and security at work?
Yeah, hello everyone. Nowadays, health and safety is important at work because many injuries can happen at work. So by considering health and safety, people are much less likely to be hurt or made ill by a poor working condition. Employees have a legal right to expect a safe and healthy work environment. Even though it may seem as if workplace health and safety is an obligation and cost to business owners, it has advantages in productivity and loyalty.
And what must business owners understand?
Business owners must understand that safe workplace is a key component to developing a positive corporate culture. Workplace injuries and unsafe working environments are bad for employee morale. An employer who is concerned about being hurt isn't able to devote full attention to daily work tasks. Employers who maintain a safe and healthy work environment and conduct employee training on safety build a stronger relationship with employees. Employees no longer feel like a means to an end, but part of team working together. This creates loyalty and increases team morale, which has a direct correlation to productivity. Roman, what do you think about this problem?
So I think that companies should know why they should take care of security at work. So for example, they should know that it's really costly if an employee have an accident at work because we should take into account salaries, medical fees, and the cost of recruitment if we need to replace the worker. So we need to understand that the security of employees is the security of the company. So the new equipment, new trainings are really long-term investment for company, and new equipment needs efficiency too. And it's a kind of invest people in the company. So trainings are an option, but equipment and machines are the most efficient way in terms of security. The first thing to do before investing in machinery is to inform workers, because to prevent risk and danger, and to sensitize them to use of protection. So for example, if a factory is a bit noisy, we should use helmets to protect them, and we can add some bonus for people who always wear protection. And companies should take care of quota of people in a factory. And I think that's the most useful way to improve the security of workers in factory and firms.
Okay. And what could the managers of Rana Plaza have done differently?
The main reason of the collapse is the swampy ground and the obsolete machinery. So managers and directors of Rana Plaza should have invested more in machinery and in building renovation.
And what could the managers of Rana Plaza have done differently?
I think we should know that the main reason of the collapse is the swampy ground and the obsolete machinery. So managers and directors of Rana Plaza should have invested more in building renovation to prevent this risk and this kind of danger.
Okay. Well, thank you, Maria and Roman, for your time. I would now like to turn to Riose Meno, an officer of the Rana Plaza. Hello, Riose.
Hello.
He was employed at the time of the incident. And Riose, would you mind sharing your point of view with us today?
Sure. The Rana Plaza tragedy was not caused by an earthquake or terrorist attack, but rather by poor construction and a lack of oversight. And in some ways, by a growing global desire for cheaper fashion. And global brands including H&M, Mango, and Primark, The Gap, and Walmart, among a dozen others, have contributed to $21.5 million to the Rana Plaza Donors Trust Fund, which was set up to award compensation to victims and their families. Vocal protests have focused on ways to donate brands like Benetton and The Child's Place, while first movers Primark and H&M have received high prize for their commitment to making things right. But the real change will come in the form of improvements to worker safety and workers' rights.
Okay. And would you be able to state some statistics on these improvements?
Of course, out of 3,500 factories identified as exporting clothing from Bangladesh, and almost 75% have gone through building fire and safety assessments. As a result, 35 factories have been closed for failing to comply with structural integrity standards. Several brands and retailers are playing an active role in addressing worker safety issue in Bangladesh in terms of both paying for factories to be upgraded and working with government agencies and non-governmental organizations to draft guidelines and strategies for improving the lot of garment workers. And in addition, nowadays owners tend to be careful about safety more and more, and they come to take actions actually when employees complain about something. And although we can see progress has been made step by step, however, those accord and commitments are set to end in 2018. So we need to focus on how to continue this work and train monitoring staff and ensure that capacity is built into the local authorities.
That's great insight. Thank you, Ryose. Now, Katya, has Caroline James heard about the Rana Plaza incident?
Yes, of course, even nowadays in the press. She told me that from her opinion, what they did wrong, they exploited the individual. Managers didn't care about the quality in which the employees worked. They did not take into account the dilapidation of the building. They should have visited the site to notice that there are too much people in the building. They should have noticed that the working conditions were precarious. The managers should also have welcomed them in a healthy building and respect standards of safety, security and health with regard to the quantity of people in the same place.
Perfect. Thanks, Katya, for your elaboration. Okay, we would now like to introduce Cheyenne Mazaeri, an employee at Ethertex in Rana Plaza. Hello, Cheyenne.
Hello. First, thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my story. I am 23 years old, and in 2012 I began working as a sewing machine operator at Ethertex, a clothing factory in Rana Plaza. So on April 23, I reported to work as usual. During the day, my colleagues and I heard that a massive crack had happened in one of the columns of the building. Management allowed us to leave, but with the strict instruction that we must return to work to the following morning. When I arrived to Rana Plaza on the 2014th, I found many workers standing outside, refusing to enter the building because they believed that it was unsafe. However, my line chief insisted that if we did not return to work, we would not get paid our wages for the month, and also will not receive our overtime benefits.
Did anyone say that the building was safe?
Yeah, of course. One of the manager announced us that the building had been inspected and was safe, and we needed to get to work because we had to meet our shipment deadline. Finally, despite our fears about the cracked column, my colleagues and I entered the building and began to work at our machines. Within 15 minutes, the electricity went out and the generator was switched on. Moments later, I heard a loud noise like an explosion and the building collapsed.
Hey, Roman, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I would like to add that ILO and NGO are pleased with the progress made on safety, but worker rights must progress more and more. And at the end of 2012, more than 122 unions in Bangladesh garment industry represent just 3% of workers. And Rana Plaza collapse involved the increase of number of unions in Bangladesh, but that is not enough to protect them.
And what about today?
Today, more than 430 unions represent 5% of workers, so the number increased, but it's not enough. The Rana Plaza remediation plan involve worker safety, but employers' place to voice about workplace safety is quite great, but the government makes some pressure to involve the non-creation of trade unions.
Yeah, and moreover, the Rana Plaza reforms have not touched 40% of the country's factories, and these tend to be the facilities that are exporting to various countries through small brands and retailers. The hope now is that the world will continue to pay attention to this issue, and that small companies and brands, not just the big players with a reputation to protect, will support reforms as well.
Great. Thank you everyone for expressing your points of view today. We have learnt a lot about the Rana Plaza and how to improve health, safety and security in the workplace. This is imperative for the betterment of society and organisations. So thank you all for coming. This has been an episode of the SDS Show. I hope you enjoyed the Rana Plaza special. I'm Braden and have a good night.